Guess all that I do was easy to use. So call my time, but you weren't really my.
둘셋 불자 BTSの둘셋 불자 BTSのVですです댄스 챌린지 댄스 챌린지今あそうで今あそうでみかんはいみかんプディング
Something to do. Thought I never knew. No surprise, but nevertheless, I'm still stuck in self-defense. No surprise, but nevertheless, I get lost when I look in your eyes. I just want to be next to your I get lost when I look in your eyes. Do you even eyes? Learning do you even learning? Leave now, make your escape. You know the fortune favors the brave. So close, just get away. No surprise, but nevertheless, I'm still
그電子レンジ
電子レンジ怖いんだよ
surprised, but nevertheless, I get
爆発
eyes. I just want to be next to your I get lost when I look in your eyes. Do you even do you even I get lost when I look in your eyes. I just want to be next to your I get lost when I look in your eyes. Do you even learning?
それ数に出ていっただけなんですか日本のアミの皆さんが
Spending the night in Dixon. Sixty-odd miles from a plan. Is it too late to learn to listen? Too late to be less a man. How many yesterdays are between us now? How many yesterdays are between us now? We carried it all.
2分あ2分
2分10で
2分あ2分
2分10での70윗몸일으키
腹筋
腹筋 몇 개씩? 몇 개씩? 2분 주대 8 86.
In miles as we go, a line at a time or a set.
러닝 3km 中で12分45秒
A line at a time or a sad swan song, offering up purple prose. And I'd find you if I could, invite you to the final act. But I think
부정거
it's understood nothing good can come of that.
さんが結構怖がりと聞いたんですが、
はい、本当に怖いです。
ちなみにどういったものが怖いとかありますか？
幽霊、ホラー映画、雲、スパイダー、嫌いです。
一緒じゃん。見ちゃったみたいなことはないですか？
はい、見たことがあるんです。練習연습생일 때 정국이랑 자고 있었는데 구석에서 맞아. 그 귀신을 봐가지고 그 약간 몸이 계속 바뀌는 정국이를 깨우고 계속 그랬었어.
Come of that. How many yesterdays are between us now? How many yesterdays are between us now? How many yesterdays are between us now?
타다 립밤. 립밤. 입술 촉촉한 게 좋아서.
Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah. Hey there, what you drinking? 2 shots, let's pour it up. I know what you're thinking, but tomorrow won't come for us. This life that we're living. Hey there, what you drinking? 2 shots, let's pour it up. I know what you're thinking, but tomorrow won't come for us. This life that we're living, ain't never gonna give it up. Double shot for the gifted, and one more for us. There you go, drink it up. All this love in a cup. Yeah, we go slow, we go fast. Yeah, we can't get enough. We stay all day, all night, living in paradise. Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life. This is the time of your life. Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life. Don't look at the past, no, we're not going that way. Oh, now make it last. like it lasts to the break of day. No matter what people say, live life in a fast lane. Double shot for the gifted, triple shot for the pain. There you go, drink it up, all this love in a cup. Yeah, we go slow, we go fast. Yeah, we can't get enough. We stay all day, all night, living in paradise. Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life. This is the time of your life. Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life. Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
V さんが優しく微笑みかけてきた。
Calling down the highway, doing 95 alone. Trying to reach you, call you, but you won't come to the phone. Remember me, said you'd be my heart's home. Guess you were biding your turn to go. Oh, I really should've known. Try, got your love was real, but it's down for us. Now you can't decide. Oh, oh, oh. After all this time, this was here for us. Change your energy, yeah, you switch things up. Now you seem brand new to me. But was that even for? Was you playing your games? Was you really bored? No. I really should've known. Be with anyway till we hit a red light. Didn't see the signs. Oh, after all that time, this is it for us. You don't wanna try. Thought your love was real, but it's down for us. No, you can't decide. Oh, oh, oh. After all this time, this is it for us. Time is here for us. Oh, I really should've known. Be with anyway till we hit a red light. Didn't see the side. Oh, after all that time, this is here for us. You don't wanna try. Thought your love was real, but it's down for us. Now you can't decide.